Welcome back to another fun-filled show. I'm your host. He is Blanchard, aka Free Blanche, aka Blanstradamus, aka Blanchy Kruger. Today's title is Black People Make Everything About Race, Part 1. And the acronym I use is E.A.R, Everything About Race. I saw a video from a young lady that I know, and she's basically talking about how the young lady that was stabbed on the subway train, how they've made that about race. Um, but as I often say, that Black people are very dishonest. Black people lie. And so what Black people aren't telling anyone is that Black people have been fueling this race propaganda for at least the past 70 years. We are talking about 70 years straight of every time a Black person had a platform, every time they had a position, every time they had a moment, every time they had a movement, every time they had an agenda, they were blaming white people for the past 70 years straight. And now a couple of months of white people saying, you know what, enough of this is enough. Now all of a sudden it's the end of the world. I just think it's very dishonest, egregiously dishonest, out of context. Think about this for a second. If we look at everybody that's contributed to America, meaning there are folks that can say, you know what, we helped build America. Well, my question is, who's been helping tear down America? Name me one time in history where Black people have apologized for anything. Now, white people are forced to apologize every day for nothing. White folks have been apologizing for decades. My question is, what have Black people ever apologized for? Now, we know that Black folks aren't perfect, so what have Black people done that they should go to the nation and apologize for? Black folks haven't apologized for the homicide rate, the abortion rate, the illiteracy rate, the poverty rate, the disease rate. Black people have not apologized for anything. They haven't apologized for participating in communism and socialism and Marxism. They haven't apologized for putting off fake race hoaxes. Black people haven't apologized for anything. So my question is, if Black people aren't perfect, then what have they done wrong? What have Black people done wrong? Nobody will tell you. But if you ask them what white folks have done wrong, they got a long list. So if all have sinned and fallen short of God's glory, then what have Black people done that they should have apologized for? Today's title is Black People Make Everything About Race. Let's jump right into it. Let's jump right into it. Let's jump right into it.
White people. Yes, Black people know that all lives matter. But what I need you guys to understand is that being a Black person in America is very, very hard. Although you all love to say, oh, nobody should see race. People are the reason that racism is still alive. Well, what kind of people are the reason? Black racists have no power, whereas white racists do. They have power because they are in positions of control, or they're in positions where they can influence the control over Black people. Yes, that is very true. So to my friends who want to get on my videos and they're upset about the picture that I posted, oh well, I will not apologize for it, because at the moment, Black lives matter. They matter. our media is showing you, obviously they don't. So for y'all that can sit around and say all lives matter, I want you to go put it on a poster and stand out on a corner somewhere. If we can get enough white people to show that all lives matter, maybe they'll stop killing our black brothers. Because obviously that's what it's going to take for the white people to get up and get tired of black people saying black lives matter. So if y'all want it to stop, you get out there and do something about it.
So you just saw Sandra Bland. Everything she talked about was about race. And nobody wants to be honest. Black people talk about race 99% of the time. When a black person has something to say, they're going to talk about race. I'm not making this up. You can do your own study on this. I bought these from, I think I might have bought these. They were on sale. I think it might have been Sprouts. I think I might have got it from Sprouts. They were on sale though, 2 for $4. Or I might have got it from Kroger's. No, I might have got it from Kroger's for like $1.39. Might have been Kroger's. But my point is that black people talk about race. It's not white people. You can't say that white people are saying they don't see race, but then also say they're bringing up race. You can't have it both ways. You all get mad at if a white person says, okay, listen, I see you for who you are. I don't see your race. You all get upset. You get upset. You say, no, see me as black. It's wrong to not see me as black. So the people focused on race aren't white people. It is 99.9% black people. And white people are tired of it. They're tired. Y'all been doing this for at least 70 years. At least 70 years. This thing said I was recording music. I didn't record any music.
Being called terrorists. We heard them being called drug dealers. We heard a lot of insults. We heard that they're a threat to our national security. And that's a flat out lie. You want to know who the real threat is, Madam President? I'll give you a hint. They don't look like our chief author. They don't look like the folks up in the gallery. They don't look like the folks on the rotunda. They look like many of the members that sit in the front. And you don't have to take my word for it. According to DHS, Madam President, the greatest domestic threat facing the United States comes from, quote, racially or ethnically motivated violent extremists, specifically those who advocate for the superiority of the white race, not our immigrants. We are safer and we're better off because of them.
Now, tell me what white extremist group is terrorizing any part of America? Give me one white group that you see outside terrorizing any part of America. Just give me one. You've only seen the Ku Klux Klan terrorizing the movies, because in real life, when they show up, all they do is march. So you've never even seen the KKK do what the movies have shown you. So my question is, what white group that is radical and extremist, what white group have you seen out there terrorizing anybody? Okay. So none. You've seen none. Somebody said they wear regular clothes now. This is what I mean what black people do. If they are extremists, they're not going to put on regular clothes. The fact that you all are telling me that the KKK has to hide, then that means America isn't racist. Because if America was racist, the KKK wouldn't have to hide. Do you understand none of this stuff makes any sense? Do you understand you all make a point and then contradict it? If America was racist, the KKK would be able to walk around in sheets all day long with no problem. So when I bring up the fact that you've never seen the KKK do any harm to anybody, you've never seen it, you've never seen the KKK bother anybody, then you move the cheese and say, well, they're not wearing their uniforms. They're not wearing the hoods and the white sheets. Okay, then that means they have to hide. And if they have to hide, then that means that the majority of folks in America don't accept that kind of behavior. It is a lose-lose argument once you remove the emotions. It is a lose-lose argument for black people. Black people are the ones making everything about race. They're the only ones. Black people are the only ones in any situation bringing up race. Black people could go to Dairy Queen and they say, I want a chocolate ice cream cone. And they say, sorry, ma'am, or sorry, sir, the chocolate machine is down. Now, instead of black folks saying, well, I'll go somewhere else, black folks gonna say, well, is the vanilla machine working? Yes, ma'am, or sir, it is working. So why is the vanilla machine working and the chocolate machine not working? Every time I come up here, the chocolate ice cream machine is always down. Why don't y'all ever have the chocolate ice cream machine? This is black people. This is black people with every scenario, every single day for the past 70 plus years. They've made everything about race. If they do well in something, it's because they're black. If they do poorly at something, it's because they're black. It is a lose-lose for white people. But let's continue. Let's continue.
People are terrified of freedom. And when you're terrified of freedom, when you don't feel comfortable, you don't know how to move, you don't know how to be successful, and there's all these white people around you who are successful and who do know how to deal with it, you hate freedom because it humiliates you. Freedom can be seized. You can have it too. But you got to stop saying you're a victim of racism. You got to stop thinking that way. You have to begin to think like a master rather than a slave. You have to think that freedom is open to you too. What I'm saying here is not rocket science. It's just common sense. I'm called a radical and so forth, and I am radical because most blacks still are at the altar of racism, which protects them from freedom. As long as they've got racism, as long as they can embrace it and hug it, they don't have to be humiliated by freedom. So what we're doing, the people who screamed for centuries that we wanted to be free and finally became free, and now we have turned tail and run from it. This is understandable. Every group that comes out of oppression goes through this.
So at one point or another, there has been some quote unquote oppression from all groups of people, which in my opinion, if the entire planet is experiencing something, then it shouldn't have a label. If human beings experience hate, if human beings experience separation, if human beings experience violence, if human beings experience all these things, then why are we giving them different terms? Even to have the term is propaganda. Racism is a propaganda word. Sexism is a propaganda word. Transgenderism is a propaganda word. Anti-Semitism is a propaganda word. These are propaganda words. Anti-Black. These are propaganda words. Everybody experiences something negative from another group of human people. Like it's normal. So if everybody is experiencing something, why are we categorizing it? It's just human beings being human beings. But you categorize it because you want to push propaganda. You want to push programming. You want to push a narrative. At the end of the day, this man just said that Black people are terrified of freedom. Why? Because freedom comes with responsibility. It comes with accountability. And that's what Black people fear. Black people fear not being able to hide behind racism, which is why they bring it up in literally every conversation. Every conversation. I was visiting with my family a couple of months ago, and every house that we went to, they brought up Trump. Every single house was bringing up Trump. And so what I'm trying to tell you all before is that, yeah, the actual word is prejudice. Now, everybody is prejudiced because we all prejudge. But again, if everybody is prejudiced, then what is being prejudiced? If everybody was a superhero, then guess what? There's no such thing as superheroes. If you go to Superman's home planet, Krypton, guess what? There aren't any superheroes. Everybody on Krypton is the same. There are no superheroes. So if everybody is doing the same thing, then why are we categorizing it? I'll tell you, it's propaganda, it's programming. And Black people are at the forefront of that propaganda and programming. Black people have made everything about race for the past 70 plus years. Black people bring up race all the time, most of the time, to try to win the conversation. You don't know what it's like to be Black. You don't know what it is to be Black. You couldn't walk in my shoes. How is a coward telling somebody else they couldn't walk in their shoes? I've never seen a tough Black person talking about you can't walk in my shoes as a Black person. No, it's foolish. You don't know how hard it is to be Black. You know, tell me. Tell me. Tell me what is so difficult about being Black. Tell me. When you wake up in the morning and go outside your house, tell me what is so difficult. Does your car not start up? Does your, instead of your check engine light, there's another light come on and says too Black? Does your car not start up? Do the traffic lights work for you? Like, what is so hard about being Black? And then I got somebody in here talking about we built this country. So I'm going to say this again. If 3% of white people own slaves, then that means the rest of the white people were working. Just because they don't show you pictures of white people picking cotton doesn't mean that white folks weren't picking cotton. Again, those photos are propaganda. You ever notice that when they show you a cotton field, it's always one small section? You ever notice when they show you a cotton field, why is only a handful of slaves? Now, if y'all built the country, it should have been thousands of slaves on cotton fields picking cotton. But every time they show you a picture, it's only a few. Why haven't they ever shown you a cotton field going out for miles and miles, acres upon acres, filled with Black people picking cotton? Propaganda. White people were the majority of people picking cotton. White people. And tobacco and sugarcane. White people. The majority of America's labor force has always been white people. Always. It's never been Black people, ever. It's always been white people. So again, what is so difficult about being black? Because when I go on social media, all I see is black folks living their best life. When I'm out in the real world, all I see is black people stunting. I'm trying to figure out what is so difficult about being black. This man said that black people are afraid of freedom. And I will say it again, they are afraid of freedom because freedom will require you to be responsible and accountable. Freedom means you don't have any excuses. Black people in 2025 are still saying they're about to go back into slavery. In 2025, black people are still talking about slavery, even though there's actual slavery in the world. So we do have a race problem in America. You know who it is? It's black people. That is the race problem in America, is black people. If black people woke up tomorrow and said, we don't care about race anymore, they will start Armageddon. If black people said tomorrow, we don't care about race, they will start World War III, guarantee it. Let's continue. Let's continue.
Facebook Meme News Central is saying that Donald John Quavius Trump wants to remove Black history and African American history from the Smithsonian. Well, I decided to read the official documents, and I want to let you know exactly what he wants scrapped from the Smithsonian in order for it to keep receiving federal funds. Number one, in African American history and culture, they describe the nuclear family, work ethic, and intellect as white qualities that are rooted in racism. Donald John Quavius said, absolutely not. You can be Black, white, Asian, or Latina. Those are American qualities. The National Portrait Gallery, they choreographed a modern dance performance detailing the ramifications of the southern border wall. They also have art portraying illegal border crossings. We all knew that President Trump was against the illegal border crossings, so I don't understand what the problem is with that. Okay, next, the American History Museum. He said, take the pride flag down because your sexuality has nothing to do with American history. And he said, scrap the LGBTQ history because it's about American history. It has no bearing on what your sexuality is because that has no bearing on who you are as a human being and as an American. The National Museum of African Art, they have an underwater kingdom of pregnant women thrown overboard during the Middle Passage. Well, we want the history to be accurate and factual, so that part has to go. The National Museum of the American Latina. It features content from a disabled plus-size actress and an ambulatory wheelchair user who educate on identity, being Latino, Latina, LGBTQ, and disabled. I can't give you an answer as to why that was even there. They also rewrote the Texas Revolution as a fight about slavery instead of Texan independence from Mexico. So the whole point is, if we're going to tell history, if it's going to be a museum, especially one that is federally funded, it's going to have to be accurate and it's going to have to tell the truth. It also said that Black Lives Matter is what actually unites Latinos and Latinas. We all know that is grossly untrue. So he's saying scrap that. The National Portrait Gallery, they have a stop motion drawing of Dr. Fauci. He's not an American hero. Scrap it. American History Museum, they argue in favor of and feature transgender athletes competing in sports against the opposite biological sex. We all knew his stance on that before he even won the presidency. While he was campaigning, before he got elected, he already told you what he thought about that, so that should not be a surprise. It also has an exhibit of the Statue of Liberty holding a tomato instead of a torch, and a basket of tomatoes in her other hand. So again, some stuff he just wanted to scrap because he does not think it's American history. And to be quite honest, I don't think it's American history either. Side note, there's another part where it lists the Pilgrims as a myth, saying that they're colonizers, and they're saying that's not true. In actuality, they are colonizers, but the root of their colonization was for religious freedom, as opposed to the colonizers that came later, whose colonization was rooted in greed and monetary gain. So that's it in a nutshell. No, he's not trying to rewrite history. He just wants it to be more accurate. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. God bless you. God bless America. And God bless Donald Junquavius Trump. Love y'all. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
I think her name is Kai Bennett. Keibennet. She's on TikTok and Instagram, probably Twitter. But again, all she did was read. And what I found out 5 years ago, well, over 5 years ago, but what I found out when I read the actual Bill Cosby case, when I actually read the actual facts about it, I was blown away to how much the media was lying. And this is why I don't believe anything in the media, because once you read, what they're saying is just not true. And so all she did was read. And Black people, again, are the ones keeping up with the whole race narrative. Black people are running around saying Trump is racist. They're the main ones saying it. Now, of course, there are libtards saying it too, and Democrats, but the main people saying that Trump is racist, the main people saying he's going to put us back in slavery are Black people. You literally had Black people running for political offices a couple of years ago. Literally, Stacey Abrams literally said, vote for me so I can get you the right to vote. Stacey Abrams said, vote for me and I'll get you the right to vote. And Black folks didn't, just clueless. If you make everything about race, it's going to take away your critical thinking skills. If you don't have any critical thinking skills, your IQ is going to be drastically lower. So when they talk about low IQ, you ought to understand that your IQ is lowered because you've made every answer the color of your skin. That's the problem, Black people, is that you've dumbed yourself down to the sole purpose of your being is your skin color. Like I said, if you do well at something, it's because you're Black. If you do poorly at something, it's because you're Black. So the summation of your existence is Black. That means I can have a quadratic equation stretching across 18 chalkboards, like Good Will Hunting. I can write a problem like Good Will Hunting all over the chalkboard, and then leave it there overnight. Then I come back the next day, and then one of y'all done put equals Black. BLACK. Y'all ain't even bothered to even read the problem. Y'all just went ahead and just put equals BLACK. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. But let's continue.
Everybody's going crazy about this tragic story of a Ukrainian refugee who was stabbed on the subway by a Black man, as they should, by the way. But let me make this abundantly clear before I go on. What happened on that subway was senseless, it was evil, and that man should have never been on the streets after 4.
Let me say this first. So Black people are programmed, and really, they don't want to talk about this. Nobody wants to talk about this because it's going to get to the root of the problem. Black people are being programmed and propagandized from birth. That means from their parents, from the television, from the school, from the media. Every aspect of society is programming and propagandizing Black people. And we see the negative effects, but they don't want to talk about that because we have to go into every institution and thoroughly dismantle it, which is what they don't want to do. They don't want to go and unloosen all the screws, all the nuts and bolts of all these institutions and then build them back up correctly. Because then a lot of people lose power, i.e. globalists, communists, liberals, etc. They all lose power. Most of this propaganda that we see out there in programming is geared towards Black people because Black people had the anchor to slavery in America. That's the identity of America and Black people is slavery. So anything dealing with racism, oppression, inequality, anything, Black people are the face of it because they have the quote unquote anchor to slavery in America. Let's continue.
So everybody's going crazy about this tragic story of a Ukrainian refugee who was stabbed on the subway by a black man, as they should, by the way. But let me make this abundantly clear before I go on. What happened on that subway was senseless, it was evil, and that man should have never been on the streets after 14 arrests. Anybody who gets arrested 14 times does not deserve to be on the streets among law-abiding citizens, okay? He deserves life in prison, no debate. But here is where I get stuck in the middle. Why does everything instantly turn into a race debate? People on the far right are blasting mainstream media's silence because the suspect was black, but let's not forget, back in 2018, a white man randomly attacked and killed a young black girl named Nia Wilson, and the big cable networks like CNN, MSNBC, all of them combined covered it for as little as 8 minutes total, according to Media Matters. So what's the pattern here?
This girl went back to one incident in 2018. Now, keep in mind, what she's being dishonest about is everything else was talking about race in 2018. In 2018, everything was racism. Donald Trump, everything was racism. So what she's leaving out is the fact that they may not have talked about Nia Wilson, but everything else was talked about. Everything, and people was faking racism hoaxes and all kind of stuff was going on in 2018. Go back to 2018, the media was dominated with racism propaganda, dominated. You're telling me that Nia Wilson, let me see. Because I don't even believe what she did. I don't even believe it. But let's see. Man, Nia Wilson got a Lifetime movie. Hold on. Listen, man, you can't make this up. Nia Wilson has a Lifetime movie. This Ukrainian girl ain't getting no movie. This Ukrainian girl is not getting a movie. Nia Wilson has a Lifetime movie. Nia Wilson, I just went on YouTube and Googled Nia Wilson. Let me take off movie. I went on YouTube and Googled Nia Wilson, and literally, she got something on Unseen. They did a year ago. They're still talking about Nia Wilson. In 5 years, this Ukrainian girl will be a memory, a forgotten memory. Nia Wilson, they're still talking about her today. This thing was from a year ago. The guy was found guilty. All kind of news articles. 7 years ago, Steph Curry honors Nia Wilson. USA Today, woman who called police on black girl selling water to go to Disneyland comes under fire. That's what was dominating the headlines in 2018. Nia Wilson has a Lifetime movie. Story after story of Nia Wilson. The Young Turks cover Nia Wilson. The libtards cover Nia Wilson. Everybody is covering Nia Wilson. Alameda County District Attorney. Everybody's talking about Nia Wilson. Somebody did a TED Talk about Nia Wilson. So again, both deaths are unfortunate, but what Amber is doing is spreading propaganda and lies. In 2018, racism, i.e., Black people either complaining about racism or experiencing racism, dominated mainstream media. Dominated. That's all they were talking about. Everything was about racism in Black people, 2018. And Nia Wilson has a Lifetime movie. They're still talking about Nia Wilson today. So it's you can't even compare the two. Black folks have been accusing white people of being racist for at least 100 years. Indiscriminately too. Just pointing randomly, doing this and saying, you racist, you racist, you racist. Don't even know the person. And the moment white folks say we're tired of it, now it's an issue.
It matters. So what's the pattern here? It's not about race. The real story is random violent crime and a broken system that keeps letting dangerous people back on the streets. That's the real story. So maybe it's not about protecting one race or another. Maybe random violent crime just doesn't always get national headlines unless it fits whatever narrative is beneficial to the powers that be in that moment, okay? From this point on, we should normalize saying a criminal...
But nobody covered, the mainstream media did not cover the Ukrainian girl getting stabbed, though. They didn't cover it. The Ukrainian girl is again a Lifetime movie. Nobody's running a special on the Ukrainian girl. They're not going to do it. And this is what I mean when I say Black people lie. You know good and well that Black people have been bringing up this race thing for a decade. We know this. We have Black people faking events, faking racist events, and not even getting in trouble. Could you imagine if a white person faked an event, a racist event? Could you imagine? Would that be mainstream media? Of course it would. If a white person had stabbed that Ukrainian girl, say her name, she wasn't from Ukraine, say she was from Compton. If a white guy stabbed a girl and she was Black on the train like that, it would be national news running 24 hours a day. In 2020, they said, if you go out there and protest for George Floyd, you won't get COVID. And you're telling me that white people are doing something? The media said if you go out there and protest for George Floyd, you won't get COVID. And you're telling me white people are doing something? No, it's black people. It's black people.
Is a criminal. Hold them accountable and protect innocent people, period. Don't go around blaming entire races because the same people yelling now didn't want all white people to be blamed when the shoe was on the other foot.
The shoe has never not been on the other foot, though. This is what I mean by disingenuous arguments. White people, when the shoe was on the other foot, which has always been, white folks haven't protested. White folks ain't been crying in every TV interview. And you know how you know this? Because white folks are saying something now and y'all are getting upset. White folks been going through this for the past almost 80 years, getting blamed for everything. When the shoe was on the other foot, it's never been off of white people's foot, ever. They've had to wear the shoe forever. If they leave a community and it goes down, it's called white flight and they get blamed. If they move back into the community and bring it back up, it's called gentrification and they get blamed. You tell me what space can white folks exist in and be at peace? Tell me. When white folks weren't saying a single word about it, y'all went into overdrive, blaming them for everything. Now that they're speaking up, now it's a problem. Black people lie. It is, thank you all for it, spoiled. They are spoiled. They are spoiled little children. Spoiled little children, babies. No self-awareness, no understanding, no discernment, no wisdom. White people in South Africa say, you know what? We want our own place. The government says, you know what? You can't do that. White people in America say, you know what? We're going to live in the country part of Arkansas where nobody's at. Black folks saying that's racist. Like, what can white people do in peace? Nothing. Everything white people do, black folks have a problem with it. If white people say, stay silent, see, you're racist because you're not speaking up. Every white person should be speaking up. Then when you speak up, they tell you, you know what? You don't have the right to speak. You can't speak for us. If you're going to be an ally, go sit in the corner and be quiet. There is nothing that white people can do. Nothing. What's the phrase? Damned if I do, damned if I don't. Black folks literally beg white people to be allies and advocates. And the moment they do, they say, you're overstepping your bounds, sit back down. You cannot satisfy Black people's appetite for debauchery and decadence. Black people have an insatiable appetite. They are like a hungry child who only wants candy, who only wants sweets. He or she doesn't want anything of substance. That's Black people. All they want to do is complain, cry, beg, fight, kick, and scream. No solutions, no productivity, none of that. This girl just did a video comparing when the media didn't talk about Nia Wilson, and Nia Wilson literally has a Lifetime movie. Somebody did some on Nia Wilson just last year and they got 1.2 million views. In 2018, Black people dominated the media, calling everything racist in 2018, dominated the media. And now that white folks are upset because they've been called racist for the past 70 plus years. Now you got a problem with that. It's ridiculous. I don't listen to Black people. Black people are very unserious. They are a very unserious group of people, not to be taken serious. Now, don't take them lightly, but don't take them serious. Don't take them lightly, but don't take them serious. They don't have enough cultural character to make a valid point. They don't. We have a problem in America with criminals being treated like saviors. But who's leading that charge? Liberals and black people. Black people are the ones pushing for criminals to be out on the street. That's black people. You see how she danced over that part? She danced over the part where the reason why these folks are on the street is because black people fight for this kind of stuff. Black folks protest for this kind of stuff. Black folks vote for these people to be in office to pass this legislation. Black people do. Black folks are the driving force for this so-called criminal element in America as black people. Because black folks don't see crime as bad. Why? Because America's racist. And if America's racist, then how can you judge me for being a criminal? That's the bliggity mind. Foolish. No context, no nuance, no understanding, no wisdom, no discernment, just pure emotions. All they see is skin. Looking for anything to be offended by. Anything. They don't care.
Does not have a skin color. Hold violent criminals accountable and protect the innocent.
Again, what she's leaving out.
CNN, MSNBC, all of them now didn't want all white people to be blamed when the shoe was on the other foot. Tragedy does not have a skin color. Hold violent criminals accountable and protect the innocent.
Again, black people want the criminals free. George Floyd has a statue, 2 of them. That closes the case. Case closed. George Floyd has a statue. Breonna Taylor, dating a drug dealer, rented a car where a man was found shot 7 times with dope on him. In the car that she rented, Breonna Taylor. Statue. This is black people. Black people put criminals on murals, on the walls, on t-shirts. Black people celebrate people like Big Meech. Black people celebrate criminals. Black people go and riot and loot and steal flat screens and bundles for criminals. Black people vote for the folks that'll get in office and pass legislations that are for criminals. That's black people. So hold violent criminals accountable when you got a whole race of people saying, let them go. You got a whole nation of people talking about we want Barabbas. And don't tell me not all black people. Don't tell me. Because if it wasn't all black people, there wouldn't be a whole genre of music called drill. There wouldn't be any rap music. You couldn't have half of these shows. Most of the stuff we see could not even exist without black people. Hold violent criminals accountable. And black folks, the main one talking about let them go. Free him. Free Young Thug. That's black people. Because again, black folks don't see criminals or criminal activity as wrong. Because black folks gonna say, well, if America's racist, how can you hold criminals accountable? Black people are saying that the justice system is racist. Black people. Black people say that the justice system is racist. Black people say that the police are slave catchers. It's black people. Black people say that the prison system is modern day slavery. That's black people. So how you gonna hold violent criminals accountable when the number one group known for protesting and rioting and looting is saying they love criminals? I don't listen to black people. They are an unserious group of people. They don't think far enough ahead to make a valid point. They don't have enough cultural character to ever make a valid point. It's ridiculous. At the end of the day, black people are the ones pushing this race agenda. It's black people. And they've been doing it for at least 70 plus years, at least 70 years. Movies, shows, political candidates, bringing everybody black, bringing up race every chance they get. And you want white folks to sit back and not say anything, as if you all are going to self-correct. Y'all ain't going to self-correct. Again, the issue is everybody likes when white people just take it. When white folks are a punching bag, it makes everybody comfortable. But the moment white people start swelling their chest up, everybody gets afraid. You know why? Because everybody knows that white people are about action. That's why. Everybody else is just talk. Everybody else. There's only one group about action, and that's white people. And everybody knows it. But let's continue. Let's listen to some propaganda real quick.
Like in those early days.
As far as the colored people were concerned, I feel that they were a good bit happier than they are now. They had less in the way of material things. But I can remember back in the 20s, when I was a small boy, they were always singing at their work. They had a great sense of humor. And now today, they just don't seem to care much about that as they used to. And I think they've lost their sense of somewhat, which I deplore.
What do you think are the differences between the races?
I think there's a refusal to accept responsibility. I think there's a lack of motivation. I've tried here to promote people to foremen, superintendents, but they just refuse to do it. They just don't want the responsibility. They don't worry like the white man. If they have troubles, they go to sleep and wake up the next morning, and that trouble is over.
Is it possible that...
Now, they're calling this guy racist. Can someone tell me so far, what has this man said that's racist? Now listen, somebody black did this, or a liberal, but black folks made it viral, so I'm gonna say somebody black did it. But what has this man said that's racist? What did this man say that's racist? He said back when he was growing up, he said that black people were a lot better off. He said they had less as far as material possessions, but they took pride in what they did. They were happier. He says now, though, I try to promote them to foremen, they don't want to do it. He said they lack motivation. They lack a work ethic. What is he saying that's racist, though? Everybody I talk to that owns a business, every black person I know that owns a business, I ask them, I make a point to ask them, who is the worst person to hire? And they all say black people. Why is that? Why is it every time I ask black people, why don't they hire black people? They say the same thing that this white man just said. They lack motivation. They lack initiative. They lack a work ethic. They don't attempt to solve their problem. Like, why do they say the same things that this white man is saying? Yet when they say it, everybody say, I understand. But when he says it, he's racist. This is why white people are tired of y'all. I don't blame them. Because you're not going to self-correct, black people. You're not going to say what we've been doing is wrong. You're going to double down. You don't have enough cultural character to do what's right. Nothing this white man has said so far has been racist. But let's continue.
White people have something to do with the lack of ability for blacks to assimilate into this culture?
Absolutely. The white man has certainly been prejudiced and to quite an extent unfair. But customs die awful hard. It takes a long time, and everyone knew years ago that the Negro would have to be given equality. But in the South, knowing Negroes as we think we do, we realized it would take time. It's been compared to straightening teeth. It takes a slow, steady pressure. You can't do it with a hammer. And white people's attitudes will change in time. I'm a lot more liberal than I was 5 years ago, and I know I'll be a lot more liberal 5 years from now, and I think almost everyone else is in that category.
So the simple-minded Bliggities said he was racist because he said niggers. But you must remember, at this time, black folks were calling themselves Negroes. The same time this man is using the word niggers was the same time black folk was calling themselves Negroes. He's just saying it with a Southern accent. And also, Negro is just black in Spanish. It's still black. It's still the same thing. Like, it's just funny that Negro became offensive, but black became accepted. It just doesn't make no sense to me. Spanish versus English, same thing. But you want to say Yeshua instead of Jesus. You're running around talking about the word Jesus. The word Jesus is wrong, but you take black over Negro, which is still black. I can't forget it. So again, he said that white people were unfair, and he said that everybody knew there was going to have to be equality. He said, but it should have happened gradually, i.e. naturally, which it would have, versus with a hammer. He said, like braces on a teeth versus a hammer. Race relationships would have to improve. It's just human nature. It's just human nature. But they paint this picture of white people being so singularly focused on race where they don't give them any credit for treating you all the best than anybody else has ever treated y'all. White people treat black people better in America than Nigerians treat Nigerians in Nigeria. I'm going to say it again. White people in America treat black people better than Nigerians treat other Nigerians in Nigeria. So I've yet to hear what this man has said that has been racist. What he said is absolutely correct, is that race relations have to occur naturally, voluntary. All white people weren't racist. This man just said, I'm a lot more liberal than I was 5 years ago, which is a bad thing. And I'll be a lot more liberal in 5 years, which is an even worse thing. Because white folks becoming liberal has only done what to the country? It's destroyed it. Because black people don't need you to be liberal with them. Black folks don't need anything. And that's the problem. The problem is the premise. The premise is that black folks need something. They don't need anything. They need what everybody else got. The same 24 hours that God gives everybody. That's what they need. So guess what, dear government? Leave everybody alone. Let them figure it out.
What has tended to make you more liberal?
Well, realization that the Negro is a human being like anyone else.
Mr. Hasty, what did you think we were before you began to think of us as human beings?
Well, in a way, we thought of you almost as a very superior pet. Something, or rather someone, we had to take care of because we had to do so much of their thinking for them. We had to do almost everything for them except living their own lives. Anything outside we had to do for.
Again, what did this man say that was racist? Let's be honest. Who believes if you gave black people, there's about 42 million black people in America, if you gave them a state, gave them their own state, right? And you can give every black person $1 million. I'm just being hypothetical. So you give black folks their own state, you give them money, but you don't set up anything. You say, y'all got to go in there and make it happen. But guess what? All of you all have $1 million, tax-free. We'll even throw in medical insurance, health care. Okay. We'll even throw in the infrastructure as far as electricity and plumbing. But you got to build everything. Who believes, listening right now, that if you let black people have their own state, 42 million black people, you gave them $1 million apiece, they can still do business with other states, other countries. The infrastructure as far as the water and electricity is set up. They got to build everything else. Who believes that that state will be anywhere near functioning in a year? Okay, maybe a year is too soon. 3 years. And I'll even say this. Let's say the roads are already set up, the train tracks are set up, the electricity set up, and the water and sewage are set up. But black people have to do everything else. Do you think that state will be thriving? Yes or no? Each black person has $1 million. Do you think that state would be thriving? Yes or no? Now we know that property that was bought in Georgia, that 90 plus acres, they ain't built nothing on that. The government gave them that land and they ain't built nothing on that land. Okay, so who believes that with the roads already set up, the electricity, the water and sewage, and each black person has health care, and they got $1 million, but they got to build the hospital, they got to build the schools, they got to build the living quarters, houses, apartments, whatever. Who believes that that situation, which is ideal for any group of people on the planet, who believes that that state will be thriving? Jason on Instagram said no. Miss Gray says no. Gregory says no. Prudence says no police. Baby for Life said, but Bland, we put the pyramids on Mars. Exactly. Everybody knows that if you leave black people to their own devices, death, destruction, and damnation will follow. You all tell me that Moses, you all tell me that Adam and Eve were black. The first people ever to get evicted, the first people to ever receive an eviction notice was black people, Adam and Eve. They got evicted from the Garden of Eden, black people. The first people ever to break the law, black people. God said, don't eat the fruit. They ate the fruit. Black people. So you just said everybody was black people. I'm just saying. So Adam and Eve were left to their own devices and they failed horribly. Moses freed the children of Israel, got them through the Red Sea. They saw all of God's miracles with the plagues on Egypt. They left with the Pharaoh's gold, so they left rich. So black people left Egypt rich and knowing God is real and going to a land that God promised them. They had everything they wanted. And as soon as they got to dry land from walking through that Red Sea ocean, as soon as they stepped on dry land, the first thing they did was complain. They started doing everything that the 10 Commandments state. Worshiping false idols, they were worse than the Egyptians. So again, when I hear a white person say that we had to think for them, I kind of believe them. But you see, I don't think that it's because of IQ, though. You see, white folks look at it, not all white folks, but the white folks that talk about the IQ thing, they look at it and they say, these people are behaving this way because their brain can't process, therefore they don't know any better. White people are still trying to assign something good to you bliggities. But that's where I come in and I say, no, they're not doing it because they don't have the brain capacity to do it. That's not why they're not doing it. They're not doing it because of their lack of character. They're immoral. They don't have any honor. See, from a distance, a lack of character and low IQ look identical. From far away, if you're looking, a person with low IQ and a person with low character, they look the same. But when you go and talk to them, you find out the truth. When you go and talk to them. See, when the Israelites say, take us back to Pharaoh, that's how you know it's not IQ. When they say, we tired of eating this manna, that's how you know it's not IQ. You know it's a lack of character. It's a lack of cultural character. The first people to be deceived by Satan were black people. The first people, human beings, because he got a third of the angels to go with him, but the first people to be tricked by Satan were black people. So that means there's some kind of relationship between black people and Satan that's always been there. It's always been there. The first homicide that was committed was Cain killing his brother Abel. Black on black crime. The first hater, the first person that was ever a hater was Cain, black. Black, and somebody told me this. She said, a wise young lady told me that. She said, black people are the closest to original sin. And when she said that to me, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I said, God, that makes so much sense. That makes so much sense. Y'all were the first to sin. Y'all were the first to bring sin into the world. You know how powerful it is that black folks brag about everything except bringing sin into the world? Black people brag about everything except bringing sin into the world. That young lady said that black people are the closest to original sin. Y'all were the first to sin. Did it change your DNA? I'm starting to wonder. Did it change you all's DNA? Because I don't buy the low IQ thing. I don't believe it's low IQ. I think it's something in y'all that when it's time to do something right, y'all don't want to do it. And where other groups of people force themselves to do right, y'all don't. Y'all double down. I'm just saying. Yeah, it is spiritual. It is spiritual. Like I said, from a distance, low character and low IQ look the same until you talk to the individuals. Then you'll find out with the majority of Black people, it's not low IQ. It's just a lack of cultural character. Black folks don't have any honor, so they don't honor things that are meant to be honored, starting with God. They don't honor God. They don't honor family. They don't honor order or structure. They don't honor those things. They honor wickedness, debauchery, perversion. This is your average Black person. I grew up around y'all. I know. You can't lie to me. I saw it up close and personal my entire life. I just thought that it was normal. I just thought that white folks were worse. You see, when you grow up seeing it, they're telling you that you're seeing this, but guess what? White folks are worse than this. So you don't even see this kind of behavior the same anymore. You're like, okay, this ain't that bad then. White folks are worse. Until you discover the truth and you find, oh no, oh no. Most folks, regardless of color of skin, ain't acting like this. This is something else. This is something different right here. This right here is something different. Y'all can't lie to me. You can lie to them, but you can't lie to me. I know you. My mother, for years, we had an old garage door that you had to pull up. Old garage door. My mom worked for the state of California. My mother bought, she got a new car, I'll never forget. My mom got a Chrysler, Fifth Ave, a Chrysler New Yorker, Fifth Avenue. Had that velvet interior, had the opera windows in the back. Clean. That thing was clean. My mom got that car. I remember we got that car clean. My mom went and got a garage so she could park the car in the garage. My mom got the electronic garage door with the security lights. Who you think stole my mom's security lights? Who you think would be so despicable to steal security lights? Now, keep in mind, my mom had to put the bars all around the house. They done broken the house about 3 times. And keep in mind, everybody in California got them big old metal bar screen doors because folk like to rob and steal in your community. But who you think stole my mother's security light that she worked so hard for? Who you think would have the audacity to steal a security light? Was it the white man? The KKK? Was it white supremacy? Or was it a crackhead? See, y'all can lie to them, but you can't lie to me. I know y'all. I know y'all very well. I am an expert on Black people, an expert. Let's continue. Let's continue.
DC takeover update. After the last 7 days, there hasn't been a single homicide for the first time in a long time. Carjackings are down 83% and robberies are down 46%. How'd you do it?
Some people we were already paying to have jobs, we sent them in there.
Yeah, the police who usually catch the criminals and let them go, they just catch them this time.
Yeah, we changed one tiny thing.
Wow. So they go, wow, we gotta write that down.
Oh my God.
And then there is a cool hotline or reward system where if you report a crime and it leads to an arrest, you get $500.
Yeah, the U.S. Marshals announced a $500 reward for tips that lead to an arrest in Washington, D.C.
Time to snitch on these moffuckers. Get that bread.
They might turn each other in. Some of these urban youths go, Lil Ray Ray shot somebody last week and he told me about it. 500 is a lot to him.
Or you just go on the street and find people doing fentanyl and take a picture and go, $500, $500, $500.
So if you live in D.C. right now is the time. The getting is good right now. You're not going to make this high of bounties forever, but imagine you get 6 people arrested. Pay your rent.
And you just report suspicious people. They go, that guy looked like he was up to something. And then they go find a Glock with a switch and go, yeah, you were right, $500.
Those 3 guys were speaky spanny. Speaky spanny, and I don't like that.
Yeah, no speaky spanny.
Now, of course, those guys are seen as racist, but they're hilarious. I think her name is Fleeces, I think. But it's hilarious. So what Trump did actually worked in D.C., and the mayor said it worked. And again, Trump would not have to say, I heard somebody say that Trump is implementing martial law. Well, if you don't want martial law to be implemented, then just put the pressure on your local government to hold the police accountable. Stop voting for people that don't think criminals are criminals. And you won't have Trump having to get involved. The problem is that the police in these cities aren't doing their job. So if the police don't do their job, then guess what? The federal government's going to step in. So if you don't want the federal government to step in, then put pressure on the police to do their job. The same way you all are march and fight and say defund the police, do the opposite now. Now you need to march, loot, riot, kick and scream to get police to lock these folks up. Just reverse what you've been doing.
Is when I can hear you 10 miles away in Walmart with your 5 fucking kids. Black fatigue is when you have no home training and you have no idea how to act in public. And a lot of it is culture. I've been in the hood. I've been in the fatigue is when I can hear you 10 miles away in Walmart with your 5 fucking kids. Black fatigue is when you have no home training and you have no idea how to act in public. And a lot of it is culture. I've been in the hood. I've been in the fucking schools and the projects where I was the only white girl there, and I can 100% guarantee you that it's culture. When majority of y'all know someone who has been unalived by another black person, way more than any instance of a black person being unjustifiably unalived by the police, that's black fatigue, as well as donating to Carmelo Anthony and Rodney Hinton Jr. When you aren't able to hold your own community accountable, that's a problem. We're not going to sit here and act like this is new now, because now white people are speaking out, especially when we've been told for so long to feel sorry for our whiteness and that we have white tea privilege, whatever the fuck that means, for something no white person alive today did and no black person alive today has experienced. There is no way that y'all thought that we would be quiet for this long. You know, having us on our knees, kissing BLM's feet, still begging for the reparations that you are not fucking owed because you did not go through what your ancestors went through. Nobody cared about race until you started blaming white people for all of your current problems. We're just untolerated.
And again, if you ask 10 black people if she racist, 9.5 of them are going to say she is. Because the 10th person is going to say, I don't know. 9 of them are going to say yes. The 10th will say, I don't know. That's what white folks are tired of. If you ask 10 black people, is she racist? 9.5 of them are going to say, yes, she is. And nothing she said was racist. Everything she said was factual. Black people, like I said this, black people have been blaming white people for the past 70 plus years. It has been a nonstop onslaught against white people through media, through the textbooks, through books, through movies, TV shows, legislation, government, you name it. It has been an attack on white people, fueled by black people, constantly, every day, all day for 70 plus years. And the moment white people say enough's enough, now y'all have a problem. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And she is 1,000% correct. Because she's been around it and she said it's culture. She's right, it's culture, because she sits there, she can observe it. It's culture. You know who smoked so-and-so. You know who the killers in the hoods are, but you blame the police. It's a cultural lack of character, and it's a cultural lack of honor. I keep telling you all this. You all are not honorable people. You're not. Because your standard isn't God. Your standard is what white people are doing. Your motivation is making white people feel a certain way. That's your motivation. It's not Jesus, it's white people. And honestly, it's really idol worship. If all your effort and energy is going towards white people who aren't even thinking about you, it's no different than a person worshiping a false idol. You're getting the same results. You're going to go to hell and you look stupid. She's not racist. Let's continue. I'm going to save that one.
You're not about to clown my people on the internet and think it's sweet.
I clown everyone.
No, you're not clowning my people.
I clown
freedom
everyone.
of speech, but you're not freedom of the shit that come behind it. So watch how you talk to people, because you're not going to clown my people on the internet, bro.
I clown everyone.
You can say that on the internet right now, bro. But like I said, I'm telling you now, I'm going to watch the videos again. I'm going to catch you. I'm going to see you again because you've been in Fort Lauderdale all day. Yeah. Now come to 13th Street and ask those same questions. Because you scared. I know you ain't going to go because you scared.
Yeah,
but you ask the black girls all day. Ask me a question. Ask me something. Ask me something. Yeah. Yeah, bro, you're not gonna. I'm not with that racist stuff. You know what you be doing. No, you're not, bro.
You get offended over a question. I don't know what
Bro, I get offended over racism about my people. You're not gonna try to clown my people, bro.
I clown everyone.
No, you're not gonna clown my people. Clown your people. Clown white people. Ask questions about white people. You see what I'm saying? Try to clown white people. No, bro, you're not gonna sit here and do that shit. You're gonna walk out here around me and think it's sweet. See what I'm saying?
You're gonna threaten me.
I'm black. I'm not threatening you. I just said it's not sweet.
Go to 13th Street. What is that supposed to say?
Ask the black guys on down there them questions. Let's ask the black girls.
Why, you guys gonna jump me?
No,
is that what you're trying
I
to
didn't say that, but just ask them. If you just asking questions, if it's not racist, don't ask them.
Why are you proving the stereotype?
No.
Are they gonna get violent on me?
Is that what you're trying to say? I didn't say that. I just said
that's what you're insinuating.
Just ask the guys. Are you scared? If you're not doing anything wrong, if you're not racist,
I don't want to get jumped by 10
people. You're not gonna get jumped.
Oh, really?
Because you're not doing that wrong, right?
I mean, I'm not doing anything wrong in my eyes. A lot of people get very emotional over words, actually.
No, if it's just all cool, fun and games and nothing racist,
it's not cool for everyone.
Because you know it's racist.
No, because some people...
You know it's racist, Playboy. Holla at you. It's Gucci Diamond.
The 13th Street. What is that supposed to say?
Ask the black guys on down there them questions.
So again, black people don't believe in freedom. So I want you to think about a group of people, talking about millions of people who don't actually believe in freedom. So in other words, they don't believe that a person should be able to say something and they say something back. And that's just it. So in other words, what I'm saying is, if he says something to the white guy, in his mind, he says, my words aren't as powerful as the white guy's words. And again, this problem is that black people have put white people on such a high pedestal. All of this stuff they say about white folks is just projecting. All of this stuff about white folks is just projecting. Deep down inside, black people feel inferior to white people. It's true. Because if it wasn't true, then his words versus your words should be the same. Even if he calls you the N-word, you call him the C-word, that should be it. It's the same thing, but it isn't. Because you calling him the C-word, you look at him and says that word isn't going to affect him. Really what y'all are saying is that white people have thicker skin than you all have. Because you know words don't hurt them. Not white people. White folks get called everything. Now, every other race, you talk to them, they get to crying and throwing fits and want to do all this, but not white people. White people get called everything under the sun and don't even care because they're tougher than you all. They have more resilience. They're more courageous. They're more faithful. They have more godly attributes than you all have. And this interaction proved it. How are you getting offended by this guy doing his own content? If you don't like it, just walk away, but you can't because you make everything about race. So if your entire existence is about race, this guy right here is your biggest antagonist when he's in front of you. And simultaneously, this guy validates your existence. You just told this man he can talk about every other race except your race. Thank you, Nikki. He said, I be watching you online. Why do you watch him? Like, why do you, again, black people don't believe in freedom. I gave you all the analogy of the state before they wouldn't succeed. I forgot to mention that the state would also be communist. Whatever government that state had that black people owned outright, it was given to them by the government, that state would be communist fully. But imagine you threatening this kid for making content, and all you got to do is just not watch the content. Then you tell him to come on 13th Street so y'all can jump him. You tell him to come on 13th Street so that you can jump him, proving what he's saying. Low IQ, low vibrational, can't control your emotions. Everything they're saying is true. But guess what, black men? For some of y'all, it's true. Dear black men, for some of you all, what they say is true. Y'all don't have good sense. You can't control your emotions. It's true. You're like little children. It's true. You're like overgrown children. Emotional. You got your mother's spirit in you. And the problem is all that energy you have, instead of going to build some with that energy, y'all sitting around doing nothing. That's the problem. And that's the problem. This man just validated everything this young man be talking about. You know, I liken black men to pit bulls. If you ever dealt with the pit bull breed, now the pit bull is a mascot for liberals. The pit bull is the virtue signal of for in the dog world. If you get a pit bull, that means you're a good person. Most people get pit bulls because they want to show the world they're not a bad person. I want the dog nobody else wants. I want the dog that people say is dangerous. I want the dog that has the bad reputation. Most folks that want pit bulls want them because they're liberals. Now, black folks get them because they was easy to get in the hood. They was almost usually free. Because some, it's cheap to get a pit bull in the hood. So that's what made the pit bull a hood favorite. It's a cheap dog. But most non-black folks that get pit bulls, they just have liberal, they lean more liberal because that dog is seen as like, quote unquote, black people in the dog world. It's still propaganda. The reason why pit bulls behave the way they do and had a bad rap is because the breed of the dog is a very active dog. So the dog has to be stimulated and it has to be disciplined constantly. That's the breed of the dog. So those dogs do well with great structure, activities, and exercise. Those dogs flourish. But in the black community where you barely walk the dog just sit there and nothing to do all day. So yeah, the dog's going to attack. If you don't give the pit bull exercise activity, and structure, they're going to behave that way because of the breed of the dog. I look at black men the same way. The reason why black men are doing all this stuff is because all that energy is not towards anything that's productive. They don't have any purpose. Everything revolves around a black woman's vagina and what they look like and the clothes and what they drive, and how they're viewed. Are they cool? Do they have swag? Are they hard? Violence. All of these things are motivating black men. It don't matter where they are either. Most black men fall victim to the culture, whether they're in poverty or whether they're rich. It don't matter. Most black men suffer from arrested development. They all do. Much like that pit bull, though, the black man needs to find his purpose. That's the problem with most black men. But to find your purpose, you got to grow up, because you got to put away childish things and accept your purpose. It's always there. You got to accept it, though. So because black men look at Christ as accountability, most black men reject Christ. They don't want the responsibility. They don't want to be accountable. So the issue for black men is much like that pit bull. It's structure. It's purpose, principles, character, honor. That's what keeps a man in line. And most black men don't have that. The culture doesn't push it. Society doesn't push it. Most black men don't have it. So then I come along and say, you know what? I'm going to hold y'all to a standard, but y'all hate me. So I said the black man is weak. Thank you, All Production, for the super sticker. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you again for the super sticker. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. My boy Calvin, Make the Truth Real Again. B, thank you so much. Boy Calvin, UK the Joker. Y'all check him out on all streaming platforms. Even you can buy his music on iTunes and definitely iTunes. Dave 817. Salute Blanche, keep speaking the truth. Just graduated from boot camp. Couldn't wait to get back to watching your videos. Congratulations, Dave 817. Glad you made it through boot camp. Congratulations. Give Dave a round of applause for getting through boot camp. No excuses. I celebrate folks that accomplish, get out of their comfort zone and accomplish great things. So congratulations, Dave 817. Combat Medic, thank you, sir, for the super sticker. Thank you so much. D5280, thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you so much. And All Production, thank you so much again. And Willie Doc, thank you so much for the super sticker. So this is part one of Black People Make Everything About Race. The acronym is E.A.R, Everything About Race. But listen, you all, I love you all, and I love you all so much, I'm going to tell you all the truth. Dear Black men, you got to get it together. Enough's enough. You need to put away childish things. The reason why I call you all weak is because you are. But you don't have to remain weak. You can become strong. And the first step into becoming strong is no excuses. And no excuses mean, guess what? You can't blame white folks for anything. So my advice to all the Black men listening is to erase what you think you know about history and start from today. Forget the history that you think you know and start from today. Really, for all Black people, start fresh, because y'all supposed to be born again anyway. And if we're born again truly, we got to forget the past. So I'm working on trying to be born again. So guess what? Forget the past. I don't care about the past. I'm talking about what's going on right now. What's going on today, right now. So again, listen, I love y'all, and I will see you all on Thursday. Thank y'all so much.